everyone. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at something that might sound a bit niche at first, but trust me, it's pretty fascinating. We're talking about 3D printing software, specifically designed for dentistry. You sent over an article about CHITUBOX Dental V1.2.0, and I gotta say, I'm really curious to unpack this with you. It seems like 3D printing is popping up everywhere these days, and now it's making waves in the dental world too.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's incredible how rapidly 3D printing is evolving. And what's really driving this progress is the software side of things. That's where we see the real game changers.
Okay, so let's get into the specifics. The article is from January 13th, 2025, and it talks about this new version of CHITUBOX Dental coming out in early 2025. Can you give us a quick breakdown of what this software is all about?
Sure. CHITUBOX Dental is a type of software called a slicer, which is essential for 3D printing. Imagine a dentist designs a digital 3D model of, let's say, a dental crown. The slicer is what takes that digital model and translates it into instructions that a 3D printer can understand to actually build the crown. It's like the bridge between the digital world and the physical creation.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's the behind-the-scenes workhorse that makes all the magic happen.
Exactly. And this new version, V1.2.0, developed by CBD-Tech, based in Shenzhen, is packed with updates. One that really caught my eye is the fact that it will finally be compatible with Macs.
Oh yeah, I noticed that too. I'm wondering, is this a big deal in the dental world? Are a lot of dentists using Apple products?
It is significant. I don't have the exact figures, but anecdotally, a lot of dentists do prefer Apple products for their design and user interface. This update essentially opens up the software to a whole new group of users, which could have a ripple effect on the adoption of digital dentistry as a whole.
That's a great point. It's like breaking down a barrier to entry. So besides this MAC compatibility, what other improvements does V1.2.0 bring to the table?
Well, they've made some significant refinements to the core functions of the software, things like hollowing, filling, and drilling, tasks that are pretty routine when preparing a dental model for printing. By making these functions smoother and more intuitive, the software saves dentists valuable time, and time is something they never seem to have enough of.
I can imagine. And speaking of saving time, the article also mentions something called optimise parameter application. To be honest, that sounds a bit technical. Could you break that down for us?
Sure, it might sound complex, but it's actually solving a very practical problem that dentists face. Think about it. When you're 3D printing something as intricate as a dental crown, you need to make sure the final product has the right strength and durability. This depends on a bunch of factors, like the type of 3D printer you're using, the specific resin material you're printing with, and even the environmental conditions.
So is optimized parameter application making sure all of those different factors are taken into account?
Exactly. It's all about seamless integration. V1.2.0 helps ensure that the settings or parameters used for printing are perfectly matched to the specific combination of printer, material, and desired outcome. No more guesswork or manual adjustments. The software does the heavy lifting to ensure the final printed restoration meets the required specifications.
Wow, that sounds like a huge time saver. And probably reduces the risk of errors, too. I bet dentists are breathing a sigh of relief.
Absolutely. And it's not just about individual settings. The new version also introduces direct parameter imports, which is particularly helpful for dentists who like to stay on the cutting edge of technology.
Okay, I'm all ears. What does that feature do?
Well, as you know, 3D printing technology is constantly evolving. New printers hit the market all the time, each with its own quirks and software requirements. Direct parameter imports allows dentists to basically download pre-configured settings for their specific printer directly from the software's library.
So no more fiddling around with file formats and trying to figure out the best settings for each new printer. That sounds like a game changer.
It is. It's like having a universal translator for 3D printers. You can upgrade to the latest model without worrying about compatibility issues or spending hours configuring settings. And here's another cool thing. CHITUBOX is partnering with major resin manufacturers like Excelled and Nustetic to expand the material library within the software.
Interesting. So what does this mean for dentists in practical terms?
It means more choices. Resin is the material used in dental 3D printing, and each type of resin has its own unique properties. By expanding the material library, CHITUBOX is giving dentists a wider range of options to choose from, allowing them to select the best material for each specific application, whether it's a crown, a bridge, or even a surgical guide.
Okay, so they're really focusing on giving dentists the flexibility they need to do their best work. This is all really impressive. But I'm also curious about the challenges involved in developing software for such a rapidly evolving field. The article mentions frequent updates to 3D printer models as a hurdle for software companies. How is CHITUBOX tackling this issue?
That's a great question. And it's something that a lot of software companies struggle with. It's a constant race to keep up with the latest hardware. But what's impressive about CHITUBOX is that they're not just reacting to changes, they're anticipating them. They're actively working to ensure compatibility with a wide range of 3D printers, both current and future models.
So they're trying to stay ahead of the curve.
Exactly. And one of the ways they're doing this is by introducing the ability to import what they call parameter packages directly into custom printer settings. This is like having a backdoor to fine-tune the software for any printer, even those that aren't officially supported yet.
I see. So even if a brand new 3D printer comes out tomorrow, there's a good chance CHITUBOX will already be prepared to work with it. That's pretty reassuring for dentists who want to invest in the latest technology.
It is, and it speaks to CBD-Tech's commitment to staying at the forefront of digital dentistry. They're not just creating software, they're building an ecosystem that supports the entire workflow of digital dentistry.
This all sounds incredibly efficient from a technical standpoint. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about why this all matters in the real world. Why should dental professionals care so much about seamless parameter management and material compatibility?
Well, think about it from a dentist's perspective. Imagine you're trying to 3D print a complex dental bridge for a patient. You've carefully designed the model, chosen the perfect material. But then you run into software glitches, incompatible settings, or confusing material interactions. It's frustrating, time-consuming, and potentially costly. And in a field like healthcare, time and accuracy are absolutely paramount.
Right. A delay or a mistake could have real consequences for a patient's health and well-being.
Exactly. So by simplifying these processes and minimizing the risk of errors, CHITUBOX Dental is essentially empowering dental professionals to focus on what matters most, providing the best possible care for their patients.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about streamlining the technical side of things, so dentists can spend more time focusing on the human side of their work. And on that note, the article also touched upon the cost-effectiveness of digital dentistry. How does CHITUBOX Dental play into that aspect?
That's a key point. Digital dentistry has the potential to make dental care more accessible and affordable. And software like CHITUBOX Dental is a big part of making that happen. By making the production process more efficient, it helps to keep costs down, which can ultimately translate to more affordable treatment options for patients.
So it's a win-win situation for both dentists and patients. That's fantastic. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive. We've talked about the core features of CHITUBOX Dental V1.2.0, its compatibility with a wide range of 3D printers and materials, and its impact on the workflow and efficiency of digital dentistry. But there's more to uncover.
Absolutely. There are a few other aspects of this software that I think are worth exploring, like the way CBD-Tech is actively engaging with the dental community to gather feedback and foster innovation.
That sounds intriguing. Let's delve into that after a quick... Wait a minute. You know what? Forget the break. Let's just keep this conversation rolling. What's the story behind this dental ambassador group mentioned in the article?
That's where things get really interesting. CHITUBOX Dental isn't just being developed in a vacuum. They've actually created a community of dental professionals who are actively involved in shaping the software's evolution.
So they're actively engaging dental professionals, getting their feedback, and incorporating it into the development process. That's smart. They're tapping into real-world expertise.
Exactly, and it creates this amazing sense of community around the software. Dentists aren't just passive users, they're collaborators, contributing to making CHITUBOX Dental the best it can be.
It's like they're building this whole ecosystem of innovation, which is really cool. I'm sensing a trend here. This idea of user feedback and collaboration seems to be popping up more and more in the software development world.
You're spot on. It's no longer just about a bunch of coders working in isolation. The most successful software companies are realizing that understanding the needs of their users is crucial.
Makes sense. After all, who knows the challenges and pain points better than the people who use the software every day? So you mentioned that CHITUBOX has formed this dental ambassador group. What exactly does that involve? What are these ambassadors doing?
It's actually a pretty diverse group. You have dental technicians, lab owners, educators, even practicing dentists. They provide feedback on existing features, beta test new versions, and even suggest entirely new functionalities based on their experiences in the field.
Wow, so it's a direct line from the trenches, so to speak, to the developers?
Precisely. And this feedback loop is invaluable. It ensures that the software stays relevant, user-friendly, and continues to meet the evolving needs of dental professionals.
I'm curious, does CBD-Tech actually implement the suggestions they receive from these ambassadors?
They do. The article highlights a few examples of features that were directly inspired by feedback from the ambassador group. It's proof that they're really listening and taking this collaboration seriously.
That's impressive. It shows a real commitment to building a product that truly serves its users. Okay, so we've talked about the features, the technology, the collaborative approach, but let's step back and look at the big picture for a moment. What does all of this mean for the future of digital dentistry?
That's the million-dollar question. It's clear that digital dentistry is gaining momentum, and advancements like those we're seeing in CHITUBOX Dental are accelerating that shift. We're moving towards a world where dental procedures are faster, less invasive, and potentially even more affordable.
That sounds pretty revolutionary. But what are some of the concrete ways these advancements might change the experience for patients?
Well, imagine walking into a dentist's office, and instead of messy impressions, they use a digital scanner to create a 3D model of your teeth. And then, instead of waiting weeks for a crown or a bridge to be made in a lab, it's printed right there in the office using a 3D printer.
Wow, so it's all about speed, precision, and convenience.
Exactly. And because the process is digital, there's less room for error. Plus, the software can factor in things like your bite and jaw alignment to create restorations that fit perfectly.
It's like custom-tailored dentistry. That's pretty incredible. But, this whole conversation has got me thinking. We've been focusing on dentistry. But could this type of tailored software have applications in other medical fields as well?
Now you're thinking outside the box. And the answer is a resounding yes. If you look at the core benefits of CHITUBOX Dental, simplifying complex processes, ensuring compatibility, streamlining workflows, those principles could be applied to countless other areas of healthcare.
I see what you mean. It's not just about the specific features. It's about the underlying philosophy of user-centric design and efficient workflows.
Absolutely. Imagine specialized software for orthopedic surgeons who need to design custom implants, or for cardiologists who need to create patient-specific models of the heart for pre-surgical planning.
Okay, now my mind is really blown. The potential applications seem limitless. But let's rein it back in for a moment and focus on dentistry. The article concludes by stating that CHITUBOX Dental aims to be a key contributor to the evolution of dental care. Based on what we've discussed, do you think they're on the right track to achieve that goal?
I think they're well on their way. By embracing collaboration, prioritizing user feedback, and constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible with 3D printing software, they're definitely positioning themselves as leaders in the field.
It's amazing to think about how far digital dentistry has come in such a short time. And it sounds like CHITUBOX is playing a pivotal role in shaping its future. But I have to ask, what are your predictions for what's next? How will these advancements continue to revolutionize dental care in the years to come?
Well, I think we're going to see an even greater emphasis on personalization and precision. Imagine a world where dental restorations are not only perfectly tailored to your anatomy, but also biocompatible with your unique physiology.
Whoa, so you're talking about custom-designed and 3D printed dental implants that integrate seamlessly with your jawbone. That sounds like something straight out of science fiction.
It does, doesn't it? But it's closer to reality than you might think. And that's just one possibility. Think about the potential for 3D printing to create custom orthodontic appliances, even entire sets of teeth that are virtually indistinguishable from natural ones.
Okay, now you're really getting me excited about the future of dentistry. But all of this amazing technology also raises some interesting questions. For example, if we're able to achieve this level of customization and precision, will it be accessible to everyone?
That's an important consideration. As with any new technology, there's a risk that the benefits might not be evenly distributed. It'll be crucial to ensure that these advancements don't widen existing inequalities in access to dental care.
You're right. We can't let technology exacerbate existing disparities. Affordability and accessibility need to be at the forefront of these innovations.
Absolutely. And there are other ethical considerations as well. For example, as the line between natural and artificial becomes increasingly blurred, we'll need to grapple with questions about authenticity, identity, and what it truly means to have a healthy body.
Wow, those are some heavy philosophical questions. It seems like technology is always pushing us to re-examine our understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
It certainly is, and that's part of what makes it so fascinating. But for now, let's bring it back to CHITUBOX Dental and the impact it's having on the dental landscape. We've seen how this software is making a tangible difference for dental professionals and patients. But I think the most exciting thing is its potential to pave the way for even more groundbreaking innovations in the future.
It sounds like CHITUBOX Dental is not just a tool, but a catalyst for change. And I, for one, am really eager to see where this journey leads. It really feels like we're on the cusp of a new era in dentistry. And it's exciting to see how software like CHITUBOX Dental is playing a key role in shaping that future.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to note that this isn't just about fancy gadgets or futuristic technology. It's about improving people's lives, making dental care more accessible, more effective, and ultimately less daunting.
That's a great point. It's easy to get caught up in the technical marvels, but ultimately it's all about making a positive impact on people's health and well-being. And speaking of making an impact, we talked earlier about the potential for these advancements to spread to other fields. What are some of the industries that you think could benefit from similar software solutions?
Well, as we discussed, any field that involves precision, customization, and efficient production could potentially be revolutionized by this type of software. We already touched on healthcare, but think about architecture, for example. Imagine software that allows architects to design incredibly complex and sustainable buildings. Then 3D print the components with incredible accuracy.
That would be amazing. It would open up so many creative possibilities and potentially lead to more sustainable construction practices. And what about manufacturing? Could we see this technology being used to create highly customized products on a larger scale?
Absolutely. Imagine a world where you can order a pair of shoes that are perfectly tailored to the shape of your feet, or a bicycle frame that's optimized for your height and riding style, all 3D printed on demand. It could completely transform the way we design, manufacture, and consume products.
It's incredible to think about the potential impact of this technology. It really feels like we're just scratching the surface of what's possible. But let's bring it back to our main topic for a moment. As we wrap up this deep dive into the world of 3D printing and CHITUBOX Dental V1.2.0, I have to say, I'm walking away with a renewed sense of awe and excitement about the future of technology.
Me too. It's inspiring to see how human ingenuity and innovation are constantly pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible.
And I think it's a great reminder that technology is not just about gadgets and gizmos. It's about solving problems, improving lives, and shaping a better future for everyone.
Well said. And I hope our discussion today has sparked some curiosity in you, our listener, to explore these advancements further. Who knows, maybe you'll be the one to come up with the next groundbreaking 3D printing application.
That's a great thought, and if you do, be sure to come back on the show and tell us all about it. But for now, we've reached the end of our deep dive. Thanks for joining us on this fascinating journey into the world of 3D printing and digital dentistry. We'll catch you next time for another exploration of the cutting edge of technology and innovation.